Hey, Shalom Akim. Verse 1 most give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashmacha Kodash. The honors under the elders Apostle Millstone, the elders Great Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect, the sincere servants of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, serve him in truth and sincerity. Yes, from the brother Chayaba from GMS Plaintables camp. Come back with another lesson due to spirit. So this lesson be based off of this article from nationalnews.com, which is entitled, it says, Russia warns of nuclear response as NATO buildup escalates tensions. And as we know, of course, war is a big topic within, the current events. And of course, as prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, obviously we're constantly bringing out prophecy. And again, you're having new things happening every single day. Like what the scriptures go into. Get it real quick. Matthew 24. And 3, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, so this going into Yahushua, says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, his disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come on my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And you should hear of wars, like it says. Yeah, and you should hear of wars, the rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Exactly. So when it says all these are the beginning of sorrows. Exactly. So point is that these are going to be the main things that are happening. You go into 2 Ezra chapter 15 and 2 Ezra chapter 16, going into what's going to be happening and what is happening, because again, a lot of these things are happening as we speak, and it's only going to continue to get worse. Well, it says verse 5, for many shall come in my name, saying, I'm a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Yeah, we know the Greek word for, or we know, of course, it says Christ right here. We say Hamashiach, referring unto the Paleo Hebrew, which is how you call upon the name of the Lord through the Paleo Hebrew. The Heavenly Father's name being Yahweh, and His Son's name being Yahushai, according to ancient Paleo Hebrew. So what, we don't say Christ, we say in the Hebrew instead. We know, of course, Christ within the Greek is Christos, meaning anointed. So we say, in the Hebrew, you would say Hamashiach, which means the anointed. So it says, I am a Mashiach. So what's really saying, it says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, or I am the anointed. So people saying that, they're chosen, they're of the anointed by the Lord, which, obviously their actions, what they say, what they speak, what they do, it shows the complete contrary. It says, and shall deceive many. Yeah, many are being deceived. Not only, of course, you have the heathen, you have plantation Christianity, whatever the heathen and their religions they're into, Islam and this and that. You even have it within our, of course, this thing of ours, as we say, what did the Hebrew Israelite, this Hebrew Israelite ministry, within it, you have, of course, in you have the true ministry, of course, but what, you have other camps that are completely deceiving the people, go breaking things down wrong, but not rightly dividing the word of truth, and deceiving many. But you have the true ministry, which is Yahushua's ministry, which is, of course, the men in Great Millstone, as well as the like-minded brothers who of course teach the same doctrine. But the point is that these things are happening in abundance. Well, many coming saying as if they're the anointed. and shall deceive many. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yeah, and so wars, on the topic of wars and rumors of wars. Again, you go all throughout the news every single day. You have a new topic on a new headline topic. Breaking news on war, rumors of wars. Well, so you have wars happening right now as we speak. Ukraine and Russia, Israel, Hamas, so on and so forth. Well, of course, rumors of wars, which is the biggest rumor of war that we're waiting for, of course, is World War III. That's the most anticipated war that's about to happen. And guess what? It's right around the corner. So read a little of this article. It says, Moscow has explicitly warned that any NATO troop deployment in Ukraine, including French, British, German, or U.S. forces, will trigger immediate nuclear strikes against those nations, with Medvedev reiterating this as non-negotiable doctrine. Exactly. So, it shows you that without a doubt we are in those times. To read that again, it says Moscow has explicitly warned that any NATO troop deployment in Ukraine, including French, British, German, or U.S. forces, will trigger immediate nuclear strikes against those nations, with Medvedev reiterating this as non-negotiable doctrine. So there you have it. If any NATO troop deploys in Ukraine, as Moscow is saying right here, immediate nuclear strikes will occur. So showing you that without a doubt we are in those times. And the scriptures going through this, the Medes, the scriptures going to Gog and Magog, the scriptures going to the North Country, in the Great Assembly from the North Country. Again, all touching into Russia, and also what the Great Assembly going into the Russian Federation. It says Putin's regime is reinforcing its armed forces with over 1 million new recruits and integrating advanced tech, drones, hypersonics, new-gen submarines. While NATO struggles with ammunition shortages and outdated defenses like the Patriot system. Guess what? This 100% links to prophecy. Let's get real quick. Joel 2, or Slakia. Joel 3 and 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Exactly. So the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Yes, so these militaries are being prepared. For what? This great war that's about to happen very, very soon. Is right around the corner. Again, we're months away from these things happening, as the other Apostle R says. And again, months can be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever. The point is that we're months away and it's very, very close. Yahweh Tezah, 2026 is a year. As we know, of course, Babylon the Great will be destroyed by nuclear fire, which is America, as the scriptures, constantly going to, countless scriptures that go into Babylon the Great being destroyed by nuclear fire. And we know, of course, Babylon the Great, when you go into it, it completely links up onto America. So what? And we know, of course, next year, as I'm making this video, it's December 22nd. In 2026, July 4th marks the 250th year or anniversary of America being established. And we know, of course, the 250 year period is a common period, or basically that's the common time span for an empire to only last for 250 years. So, without a doubt, with all these things happening, we see America is at its very, very end, on its last leg. But Yahweh Tezah, the next year is a year. That will all these things happen. The MLTB is mandated. Of course, what Esau coming down like a madman sparing none. But and then what? Right then there, Yahweh Shemeshai will have to make his move. But War 3 happening, nuclear war popping off. Yahweh will have to come back right then and there to make his move. For to deliver his elect and to completely take down these heathen. It says, Joel chapter 3 and 10, be your plowshares and the swords and your pruning and the spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Yeah, so we're seeing that. These nations that were once known as, obviously their, military prowess wasn't what it once, or what it's not what it is today, obviously. You had the USSR completely falling in the 90s. Well, what now is a completely different story. Let's read this part again. It says, back in the article, it says, Putin's regime is reinforcing its armed forces with over 1 million new recruits and integrating advanced tech, drones, hypersonics, new-gen submarines, while NATO struggles with ammunition shortages and outdated defenses like the Patriot system. So there you have it. So, hey, we see, Russia is getting all this new tech and basically all these new advanced weapons. But, of course, ramping up production, in these things. Well, NATO, can barely manage with its ammunition. And it says, and outdated defenses like the Patriot system. So, hey, China, Russia. Again, you go back far enough, these nations weren't known, or what they obviously didn't have the capabilities that they obviously have now concerning what technology and weaponry. It says Joel 3 and 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And well, ultimately we know the valley of Jehoshaphat is going to the Middle East. So the heathen, the main place where the heathen are going to gather at, these other nations to fight this Third World War, is going to be in the Middle East. So hey, Yahweh Shemeshai is preparing something big. Well, guess what? Lord's killing two birds with one stone. Or ultimately just gathering up all these nations just so, they fight against each other. and basically, again, a lot of destruction is going to occur. So, in just this area. So guess what? Yahweh Shemeshai is going to group up all the heathen. Of course, so that y'all be judged, of course, collectively, in one spot. It says Isaiah 13 and 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against him. So the Medes, again, the Medes going into Russia, when you go into the ancient location of the Medes, it links up onto, or basically it connects with the modern day location, or basically the location of Russia today. So it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against him, which shall not regard silver. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it. It said, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Exactly. So, the Medes going to Russia, Babylon going to America, and it says what? Which shall not, so, behold, again, verse 17 of Isaiah 13, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So it's not going to be anything that can be done to stop what's going to happen, which is what? These other nations teaming up against America to destroy it. You know, the main superpowers, as we can see, being Russia and China. And, you know, going down a list of these other nations that will team up against America. So there you have it. Not going to be anything you can do, you know, bribe Russia or do this, do that. You can't stop it from what being. You can't stop America's fate, which is destruction. It says Isaiah 13:18, their bows shall also dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. I said their eyes shall not spare children. Showing you again, nothing is going to prevent them. And well, ultimately, Yahweh is going to put the spirit on them to do it. So nothing's going to prevent these other nations from doing what's prophesied. Because why? Because it's prophecy. It's the Lord's word. The Lord's word cannot be bypassed. Once the Lord speaks it, it's going to happen. That's it. So it says, read a little bit of this article, finish it off. It said, Western leaders, particularly Biden, risk provoking World War III. Well, obviously, you know, Nero is in office now. Trump is in office. Not sure why it says. What says risk provoking World War III by considering large scale troop deployments, e.g., 10,000 French or 50,000 U.S. soldiers, with which Russia views as an existential threat, warranting preemptive nuclear strikes on major cities, D.C., NYC, Paris, etc. Hey, so imagine that. It says Russia accuses NATO of pursuing global hegemony despite a shifting multipolar world, dismissing Western diplomacy as insincere while preparing for long-term conflict under a new tech-savvy defense minister. It says, Belousov. With NATO underestimating Russia's resolve and Moscow refusing to back down, the world is nearing a potential nuclear flashpoint unless urgent de-escalation occurs, yet neither side shows willingness to compromise. And of course, one thing to mention, this war, the War III, the nuclear war, will not pop off until this mark of the beast is mandated. Until the RFID implant is mandated, then what that's going to give the go-ahead for this nuclear war to pop off. And we know, of course, the implementation of the mark of the beast is right around the corner, very, very soon, on the horizon. Of course, as we see, you know, the digital ID, we see, again, everything becoming digitized. You know, cash quickly going away as we speak, you know, and pushing forward ultimately a completely digital system. Which what the mark of the beast, of course, is the implant, the RFID implant, the CHIP that they want to put in everybody, pursuant to Revelation chapter 13 and 16. And then, you know, you can read on down to verse 18. So yeah, that's the point. And again, all of these things are right around the corner. So obviously, well, we're waiting for the implementation of the MLTB. But don't think that just because, you read this article, oh, World War III is going to pop off tomorrow. Or, Iran and Israel send, back-to-back missiles on each other. Oh, World War III is going to pop off tomorrow. No, ultimately, we're waiting for the implementation of the mark of the beast. Which, again, is very, very soon. Until then, it's just a rumor of war. World War III. Of course, with the climax of it. So again, waiting for these things, hastening in the day Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. And the Lord is shortening the days for the elect's sake. These prophecies come quicker and quicker. Because again, Yahshai won't come back until these things happen. Going to 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. And what basically you go throughout these scriptures, going to the prophecies that will occur before the coming of Yahushai. what the main ones were waiting for. Again, what? All hell breaking loose, implementation of the mark of the beast, and what the nuclear war popping off. And of course, right then and there, Yahushua will come back and make his return to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel. But obviously, the Lord will have to come back to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel from America. Because again, this place will be destroyed. If the Lord didn't come back, then the elect will perish, in that destruction. So Yahushua is coming back to make a great deliverance for his elect, with his angels accompanying him, being in their own chariots to deliver the elect. Of course, in the elect meeting Yahushua in the air, as the Thessalonians goes into. So, this is what we're waiting for. And ultimately, us coming back down, well, of course, we're starting with the 144,000, the governing body, to completely put in order, the whole entire earth under the commandment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So, these are the things we're waiting for. And these things need to come to pass in order for the kingdom to come. So we're hastening in these things. And we pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that we're protected. And of course, we're reserved within these times. And ultimately, that we're a part of the elect. And that we endure until the end. And what the elect will endure until the end. So being part of the elect, that's what we hope for. Yahushua is chosen. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is elect, remnant of the nation of Israel. Of course, that's what we hope for. So, Lord, all you brothers are edified. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Gakoresh Brakatham. Shalom.